but I want to start with anybody who yesterday came down the road of Kyle Shanahan. Will you call us right now, please, and explain yourselves?
And apologize.
And here's what I mean, okay? Because it wasn't a great game for Kyle Shanahan. It was a terrible game for the 49ers. They lost by double digits.
I thought it was a good game for Kyle Shanahan. He schemed him open on 3 big plays, and it was a drop. It was a drop, and it was an interception at the end of the half. Who cares?
Jimmy was good, but I'm always going to hold a coach accountable when you're in the fourth quarter, you're down by double digits, and you're cruising down the field as if you were an employee at the DMV. Like, let's go. Are you here?
That might be a 5, by the way.
Can we move the line forward, please? Like that's the one thing I would ask Kyle coming out of that game.
Shout out to Hagenberger DMV, where they have like 5 different numbers. It's like not like number 22 and you look and you're number 71. It's like A41, I-17. It's like playing bingo.
Listen, I actually have the cure for all your DMV woes. Just go live in LA for a couple years.
Really?
Holy hell. Like, Bay Area traffic. And I get that I don't live in the East Bay, so I don't get the worst of it.
Yeah.
But if you live in LA for any period of time, you come back home and you think these things are just adorable. Bay Area traffic. Oh, so cute at this age. Oh, the line at the DMV. Oh, no, there's 12 people in front of me. Oh, my God. Go to LA. Your day is gone if you go to the DMV. There's no other parts of the day. It's not like I got there at 8 because I have an appointment at 4. Cancel the appointment. You're not going to make it, okay? It's just insane. So anyway, quick aside on that.
Great aside.
Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers didn't have a great game, but I took the angst from the 49er loss, and we had a great day at Chase Center yesterday. And thanks to all of you, and congrats to anybody who won the Steph and the Clay jerseys and all of that stuff. And so we also feel, though, we were a little short on our ability to have time to sort of dedicate it to the 49er game. And so I sit down last night, and the Broncos are on my television yet again. Oh, my God. I think I've seen every play all year long. And it just,
that's a weird one.
It keeps not getting better. We're 6 weeks in. 4 of their 6 games have been on standalone nighttime football.
And they've scored a total of, I think, 50 points in those 4 games.
This was their second Monday night game, right? Do I have that correct? The opener against Seattle, Russell Wilson's return to Seattle, was that not the first Monday night game of the year? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Obviously, the 49ers and Broncos were on Sunday Night Football. You had the Thursday night game with the Broncos, and then you had this. So they keep showing up on our TV set, and they keep doing the same thing, and they keep being really, really hard to watch. But it's not just the bad football. It's the decisions. It's the stuff that you're seeing where it's like, kind of like when you're dealing with as a Little League coach. We can deal with the physical mistakes. It's the mental that you got to get rid of. And Russ keeps doing things that are mental. Nathaniel Hackett keeps doing things that are mental. Brandon Staley is doing things that are mental. You got another team with no timeouts, and you're just like, yep, we're throwing the ball. Like,
what are you doing?
I'm sitting here going, the motto of our show is, what are you doing? When the Broncos play, it's every play. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? And so, after watching that game, do you feel a little bit better about Kyle Shanahan, all of those of you who want to come down his road? Because the obvious question will come up anytime somebody goes, this Kyle Shanahan, he's not a guru of anything. He's not a genius. I hate the words we use to describe him. Look at what's going on around the league and go ahead and tell me who it is you'd rather have coaching the 49ers than Kyle Shanahan. Look around this league.
Well, it's a shorter list of who you'd rather have than who would you rather not have. And the not have list is longer than the list of guys you'd rather have. And both those guys last night, no thank you. I'd rather have Kyle than both of them. Brandon Staley continuing to find ways to complicate fourth down. 4th and 2, let's go for it. Eschew the field goal. You don't get it. He's the king of the 4th down, let's go for it, and not get it done. And it took a minor miracle at overtime. It took the fact that they're playing a terrible team to get that win. Denver has scored, Mark, 16, 16, 11, 23, 9, and 16 in their games. That is a dreadful product.
Ugh.
Yet they have 2 wins, and they probably should have 4 wins. They shouldn't have lost to Seattle, and they should have beaten the Colts.
Although they should have lost to the 49ers. I mean, we could do that back and forth.
Yes,
they
okay.
should have lost to the 49ers. But yeah,
That game was never in doubt.
the one time they've scored more than 20 points, they lost.
Yeah.
The Raiders outscored them, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole thing. I guess, what if I said it to you this way? Go around the league and tell me how many coaches are you jealous of? Like, if I could just say, like, do you want Andy Reid? How many coaches go around the league and tell me your coaching jealousy factor? Go around the league and tell me how many coaches you think are clearly better than Kyle Shanahan and you think could do a better job. You want Belichick?
Sure.
You want Andy? Do you actually?
Yes. I mean, look what Belichick's doing with his 3rd-string QB.
Right.
Belichick is still better.
What exactly is he
and
doing?
I'm going to take Mike Tomlin over Kyle Shanahan also.
They're 3-3. Mike Tomlin's 2-4.
Right. Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing record ever. So he gets the nod. He gets a de facto nod over Shanahan. Same thing for Belichick.
I mean, they're both in last place right now at this hour. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan's in first. They're both in last.
It's always a peculiarity.
I know. They have the same record, but the Patriots are in last. The 49ers are in first. Just FYI.
I'm taking Andy Reid.
Andy Reid,
for sure.
Okay. All right. Who else? Is that it in the AFC? You want anybody else out of there?
I'll take John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, they're always good.
They're also
John
3-3, but they're in first place. So,
but John Harbaugh is a guy who gets his team ready to play. The thing about Kyle Shanahan from this last Sunday, and this falls on the head coach, when your star tight end says, "Man, we had guys not playing hard."
Not a good quote.
That's a Shanahan issue. It's your job to get your team to play hard and be ready to roll.
If it's actually true. I mean, it is a problem if it's actually true. That was a very interesting quote from George Kittle.
But if it's not true, that's equally damning because then you've got problems in your locker room.
Well, he felt it on the field. That's the only way I can say it.
Yeah.
He was out there and he's looking around going, are we all trying? Are we trying really hard right now? Right? So there's that. But go through the NFC. In the NFC, is there any other coach that makes you Shanahan jealous?
I'll take McDermott over Shanahan right now. Just through the hot hand.
NFC.
Oh, I thought we were talking AFC.
Well, no.
still.
We were. Okay, we went through the AFC. Everyone we named was just in the AFC.
Well, that was the last one in the AFC that I'm going to claim.
Anybody in the NFC at all that makes you Shanahan jealous?
Tough to not look at Sirianni right now and what they've got going.
That feels so prisoner of the moment, though. They're 6-0.
No, you're not wrong.
Really, you want to go with Nick Sirianni over Kyle Shanahan?
Eberflus beat him. I'm taking the Flus. I got to take the Flus.
I know what happened there. You just like saying Eberflus, which, by the way, I do not deny.
You know it.
It's a whole lot of fun. It sounds like you might be visiting Sweden on a vacation or something like that.
Totally.
Whenever you get to say Eberflus.
The Flus.
Anyone else? Do you want to bite kneecaps? Would you like Dan Campbell?
No. I'm taking
to be your head
McVay.
coach?
McVay beat him in the big spot.
McVay, all right. You want someone to run into the end zone and start chest bumping your players whenever they score a touchdown.
And I'm not taking the gum chewer in Seattle. His time is done.
We're about to get mid-season Hard Knocks with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. How you doing? Of course they're 2-4.
Are they doing mid-season Hard Knocks?
They're doing mid-season Hard Knocks with the Arizona Cardinals. The promos are hysterical. It's like, you can't do that. You can't get Deep Voice Guy to be like, the Arizona Cardinals. It's like, yeah, what
and
about
their new
them?
addition?
Like, I mean, right?
Robbie Anderson.
It's like the frozen no, there's nothing frozen. We're out in the sun. It's hot. We don't really have good players. I don't know what you wanted to say, but here we are. Like, I don't know.
What do you give me for Brian Dable?
Not much. But
that Giants team isn't very good.
Listen, I had to do this year's in-season mea culpa for the New York teams because I've blown them off all year. And once you get to 5-1 and you've got back-to-back wins over Green Bay and Baltimore, I don't know, like, you got to take notice a little bit. I still don't love everything.
We need the deep voice guy for your mid-season mea culpa.
The New York football teams are actually
there
good.
He is.
They're good.
Where's he been?
They're 5-1, even though it still looks like they suck. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Where's Harry Kalish been?
I don't know. He's been hanging out. He's waiting for midseason.
We need him.
You know, like Robert Saleh, Brian Dable, they've made somebody in their locker room believe. And that's worth a ton when you're trying to change a culture. I still don't know if I look at either team and go, what exactly do they do well? New York Jets, go ahead. What do they do well?
Defend.
That's
good defense.
Is it? Are
That's
they
good defense. They got a good front. Quentin Williams has been wrecking shop.
They've given up 128 points this year. That's more than the Bengals have given up.
You could argue that Shanahan was keeping down his assistants who've gone out and flourished outside of the shadow of Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, well, you could do that if you want.
I mean, I wouldn't argue that, but you could argue it.
You're allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the Jets do well. I don't know what the Giants do well. They've just won most of their games. So, great. I can't dismiss all of that. But I just, this is what I feel. It feels to me like a Pavlovian snap unfair reaction. The 49ers lose a game and we go, Kyle, damn it, you're not as good as you say you are. That's not how it works. Like, again, look up and down football. Look at the NFC. There are 4 teams that have a winning record. Okay? The 49ers are leading their division. They are the 4 seed right now in the playoffs.
Wait, say that again. There are 4 teams with a winning record.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And a couple of them, be honest, you don't even think they're that good. The Giants and Vikings are 5-1, and nobody even thinks they're that good.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, we only think are good on one side of the ball. And then there's the Eagles. Great. There's the Eagles. I mean, the 49ers, I'm not here to tell you it's perfect. I'm not here to tell you it's been a great season. I'm here to tell you they're in first place. I'm here to tell you they're the 4 seed right now in the playoffs. I'm here to tell you that their defense was completely compromised last week. And I'm here to tell you that I think Kyle Shanahan continues to be the absolutely correct man for the job. So you can get angry at him all you want, but it feels like you're not really thinking through your point. If every time they lose, Kyle, fire Kyle.
Well, yeah.
Come on. There's got to be something more to it than that.
Well, then you can clamor for his firing all you want, but that's like banging your head against a brick wall because he's under contract for 4 more years. So they're not going to fire him. Even if they lost out this season, he still would get a chance to come back next year with his shiny new toy, Trey Lance, and give it a go with Trey Lance. Now, if they wound up this year 3-14, and next year they also went 3-14, okay, Kyle Shanahan won't be here for another season after that. That's worst case scenario. But you can blame Kyle Shanahan if you want, but right now it's further down the list. And I don't excuse injuries because every NFL team has to deal with it. The Niners have to deal with it more than other teams. As you pointed out, they lead football in the amount of games lost
again
due to injury.
Yep.
Well, that's something you got to deal with as a head coach. You got to find a way to scheme around it. And I thought offensively they did a good job for the most part. They just, in the second half, Mark, why is their offense coming up short so much in the second halves of games?
Fair question. It's an absolutely fair question.
And by the way, you're going to need, I'm going to go out on a limb here. You're going to need to score in the second half this Sunday in order to win.
I think that's probably correct. Mm-hmm. I am planning on the Niners not being up 30-0 at halftime. Okay. That's my plan. Listen, again, I'm not saying there aren't questions, and I'm not telling you that you can't be frustrated. I just think that everybody needs to think a little further into this before you come up with your Monday point after the 49ers lose a football game. And here's another aspect of this that I think is going on. And Dibbs, if I may use you as an example here, because you've just had a baby after going, 18 to 19 years without having had a baby.
19 plus.
So tell me, how many things about having a baby did you kind of forget?
Maybe half.
Right?
Maybe half the things. But thank God we have Google now, because
Google?
When Keon was born in 2003, you had to ask Jeeves. And your boy Jeeves.
Where is Jeeves, by the way?
He was no help then, and he's no help now.
Is he on Dan Campbell's staff in Detroit? Where did Jeeves go? Here's my point. We forget. I'm not asking you to remember. It's hard to remember stuff, right? If I just, what'd you have for breakfast? Shoot, what did I have for breakfast? It's hard to remember things. So, respectfully, you're all forgetting what 49er football was like before Kyle got here. You are forgetting what was happening with the 49ers before Kyle got here. So when you run around with all of your data, 42-44 as a head great, thanks. Second half of games, their data says that when they're great, thank you. Do you remember what 49er football looked like before he got here? All I want you to do is do that exercise for 5 minutes, then come back and tell me how ticked you are at Kyle Shanahan. He has been far and away the best coach that the 49ers have had in the last generation.
I'll tell you what that year was like, Mark. They opened up that season shutting out the LA Rams. Has Kyle shut out the Rams? No, he has not.
Seemingly held them under 10 almost every time, though.
He didn't shut him out.
Okay.
Chip Kelly and company shut him out 28-0.
Oh, Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly. He killed him. Forget the fact that then they lost to Carolina, Seattle, Dallas, Arizona, Buffalo, Tampa, New Orleans, Arizona, New England, Miami, Chicago, and New York, and Atlanta in a row. In a row, Mark. So they went from 1-0 to 1-13. Ignore that, because then they bounced back and they beat the Rams again.
Oh, well,
they beat the Rams again.
The Rams are always there for you when you need them. Have you noticed that? Even the last couple of years.
Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly.
By the way, he's doing some interesting things down there at UCLA. He's right where he belongs, back in the Pac-12.
Exactly.
But, yeah, Chip Kelly, Jim Tom Sula. Some of you might still be big fans of Jim Harbaugh, and I understand it, but Kyle has achieved everything that Jim Harbaugh did, by the way, losing a Super Bowl. So, and then go back before that to Nolan and Singletary and everything that we've been through. I don't know. Like, 49er football before Kyle Shanahan was a lot worse than 49er football with Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan opened up 0-9. Yeah. And if you think about it in those terms, Chip Kelly lost 14 of his final 15 games. And then Shanahan gets the gig and he loses his first 9. They lost 23 of 24 games. Think about that. And this is to your point of remember where this Niner organization was. And Kyle started 0-9, which obviously skews his record toward the negative. But this franchise lost 24 of 25. Think about it in terms of the parity we know this year. That's almost impossible to do.
It's almost impossible. And now here we are, a handful of years later. What do you want me to give him his flowers for being 3-3? I don't know, kind of, yeah. I kind of do. Yeah. They've been through a quarterback switch. They are the most injured team in the NFL. Am I here lining up with excuses? I don't know. Does a first-place team need excuses? I don't even know if they need them. Oh, but the Cowboys, you want to know what happens if the season goes the way it's going right now? 49ers are going to host the Cowboys in the playoffs. Because I
bet the under.
Because I think they're going to win this division. That's what I think. That's what it looks like. Because some of these guys are going to come back. They're about to get a lot healthier this week.
Our producer sent out the stat in our thread. I think they have a 51% chance statistically
to win the
division.
And a 67% chance to go to the playoffs.
Right. So
I'll take it.
I like their chances of making the playoffs, and obviously the division, the next 2 weeks are huge. If you drop them both and you head into the bye at 3-5, that puts you in a tough spot. And by the way, if you're going to win one of the next two, beat the Rams. Because then you'll be 3-0 in the division.
It's absolutely more important.